Okay, describing proportionality. All right, so I'm going to look at this box right here. So in a proportional relationship, the constant proportionality, which is K, right? This right here, the constant of proportionality, K, is the value that can be multiplied by any X value to determine the corresponding Y value. There are two equations associated with proportional situations. My first one is K is equal to Y over X. And my second one is Y is equal to K over X. Okay. This one, K equals Y over X, is used to determine the constant of proportionality. And Y equals K times X is used to show the relationship between the variables. Okay. All right. Let's just dive straight into this. So David's family is renting a ski boat at the lake this weekend. They are considering two different companies. Company number one has a 2-hour rental for $60 and a 3-hour rental for $90. Company number two has a 3-hour rental for $105 and a 4-hour rental for $125. Okay. So the question one is asking for which company is the relationship between the cost and rental time proportional and explain. Well, to be proportional, that means I have to spend the same amount I would per hour. Okay. So let's take a look at here. So for this company, I'm spending $60 in 2 hours. So for 1 hour, I'm going to spend $30 because all I did was decrease it by 2, meaning that I should spend $30 per every single hour that I have. Well, 30 times 2 is 60. 30 times 3 is 90. Okay, so company one seems to be pretty good. Now, if I look at company number two, I'm going to have 105 over 3. And if I want to know for 1 hour, I'm going to scale everything down by 3. So I'm going to divide by 3 both on top and bottom. I get 1 hour is $35. Now let's take a look at this. If I do 35, okay, I'm going to use my calculator here, and I do 35 times 3, I get 105. Okay, that seems to work. Well, 35 times 4, I'm told that it's 125. Now let's see. I get 140. That means company two, I am not charging the same rate per hour and scaling up appropriately. So for which company has a proportional relationship, and that one is company number one. Okay, that is company number one. All right, what is the constant of proportionality for that company? Meaning, what is my K value? Okay, well, K is, I've been told it's Y over X, or sometimes I'll keep saying that it's usually, most of the time, your unit rate. Okay, if you guys can find the unit rate in your problem, that's your K value. Okay, and so that was 60 over 2, which brings me down to $30 over 1. So K is equal to 30. All right. If you can find your unit rate, then you have found your K, your constant of proportionality. All right. Letter B. The Popcorn Prince sells 3-pound packages, for $7.50. The manager wants to offer other packages at a proportional price, which means per pound, I want to spend the same amount. Okay. So which package would offer the popcorn for the same price per pound? Well, I need to find out how much is it going to be for me per pound of popcorn. So I'm going to put money over pounds, and I'm going to set it proportional to equal to 1 pound. Well, I got to divide these two numbers here and see, well, 3 can go into 7 2 times with 1 left over, bring down the 5. 3 can go into 15 5 times with nothing left over, bring down the 0. 3 can go into 0 0 times. So 1 pound is equal to $2.50. All right. So that means if I go from 1 to 2, I need to double 250 to 650. Well, I'm looking at this math, and if I think $2.50 times $2.50 or plus 250 is going to get me $5. That's not going to get me $6.50. So A is not correct. So because I know that 2 pounds times 250 is equal to $5. Okay. Well, let's see. 5 pounds times 250. What is that going to equal me? Well, 5 times 250 that it should equal 12.50. Is that correct? Nope, B's not correct. All right, so let's try this. 6 pounds times 250. Well, 6 times 250, that should equal 15. Is that correct for letter C? Yep. And then let's check for letter D. At 12 pounds times 250, so 12 times 250, that should tell me it equals $30. Well, D does not equal $30. Okay. Number 2, create a table and graph to show the relationship between price and pounds of popcorn. So I know that for 1 pound of popcorn, it's $2.50. So I'm going to multiply 1 times 250. Well, if I do that for 1, I need to do that for 2 to get me to $5. For 3 pounds, we learned that you do 3 times 250 to get me to $7.50. If I have 8 times 250, okay, that's going to get me to $20. Well, 15 times 250, that's supposed to be a 250, times what is it, 15? I'm touching 18. Is $37.50. Okay. Well, if I paid $60 at $2.50 per thing, I could stop and use this. 12 pounds is equal to $30. Well, if I double 30 to 60, I'm going to double the 12 to get me to 24 pounds, which means the X number of pounds times 250 should equal my price of Y. Okay. So what is the price of per pound of popcorn? Well, it's $2.50. Okay. We can go ahead and graph this very quickly and have money on the side, and we're going to have pounds on the bottom. Okay. So let's see. Let's go up to, 4 times 250. I'm trying to make this a little bit easier. There we go. 2, 4, 6, 8. And I'm going to have, what is that? 5, 10, 15, 20. I know that for 2 pounds, it is $5. For 4 pounds, I'm doubling it to 10. For 6 pounds, I'm going to triple that to 15. And then for 8 pounds, I'm going to quadruple that for 20. And if I had 0 pounds, I'm not spending any money. So I'm scaling up an equivalent ratio. So how can the unit cost be used to find the price of any amount of popcorn? So I'm going to take my unit rate and then multiply it by the number of pounds. P-O-U-N-D-S. So write an equation to show. So what would my equation here be? It would be the price that I'm paying is equal to $2.50 per pound of popcorn, or 250 times X. So what is the constant of proportionality in this situation? So what is my K value? Oh, I'm running out of ink. Okay. If you remember from the front side, our equation Y equals K times X. Well, K is that number that is multiplied by X. So we'll always be that number multiplied by X. And so my number multiplied by X is 250. Okay. And then how could you use any two values from the table to calculate this? So if I were to create a table here, an XY table, and I said 36 pounds, 40 pounds, and 45 pounds. Okay. Let me get this for you really quickly. 100. And then 112.50. So if I extended my table down, how could I calculate the constant of proportionality? Okay. Meaning, if I didn't know any of the information above, how can I calculate K? Well, on the front side, it tells me K is equal to Y over X. That's how I solve it. So I'm going to have Y over X. Meaning, if I'm looking at this one right here, okay, if I'm looking at this problem, I'm going to have Y, which is 100, over my X value of 40. And I'm going to divide those two numbers. And when I divide those two numbers, you're going to get your K value, your constant of proportionality. Okay. All right, let's try letter C. Let's see here. Yeah, I think this one gets a little harder. All right, Jenny loves potato chips but is watching her weight. Her favorite branded chips says serving size of 25 grams for 155 calories. Jenny wrote the following equation. What question is she trying to ask? Well, it looks like she has grams over calories. So she has 25 over 155, and she has 60 over X. So it looks like she's trying to find how many calories are in 60 grams. So she set up her proportion. We were to find the question, and we said how many calories are in 60 grams. Complete the statement below and show how you arrived at your answer. So Jenny consumes blank number of calories for every 5 grams of potato chips. So I'm going to go over here and do 25 grams over 155 calories. If I have 5 grams, how many calories do I have? Well, I've got to scale down. And so 25 divided by 5 is 5. Well, what's 155 divided by 5? And that's 31. So I have 31 calories for every 5 grams of potato chips. Okay. Well, now I need to calculate this. Okay, so I already know this. So for 5 grams of potato chips, I have 31 calories. Okay, so I need to find out how did I get there? What did I multiply 5 by to get to 31 or 25 by to get to 155? So I'm actually going to rewrite my proportion of 25 over 155 because I want to know for how many calories are in 1 gram. So I'm going to scale down my proportion by 25. So I'm going to have 155 and I'm going to divide it by 25 to learn that it's 6.2 calories. So I multiplied 1 by 6.2 calories. And if I do that for 1, I'm going to do that for everything else. Oops, not this one, this one. Okay, so 10 times 6.2, that's going to get me at 62. Let's see, 30 times 6.2, that's 186. If I had 400 and I multiplied each gram by that, I should have roughly 64 calories. So if I had X number of grams, I'm going to multiply everything by 6.2 to get Y number of calories. Okay. All right. What is my unit rate? Well, my unit rate is 6.2. If you know the number of grams of chips, how can you determine the number of calories? So you're going to take number of grams and multiply by 6.2 to equal number of calories. To write an equation, we're going to say that my number of calories Y is equal to 6.2 times every gram that I own, or that I have, sorry. All right. So let's take a look at this. So for 10, I know that I'm at 62. 20, let's see. 20 times 6.2 is 124. Wait. All right, so let's start at, let's go up by 20s. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 220, 240, 260, 280, 300. Okay. All right, so I went up by 20s for my Y value. So I know that for 10, I'm at 62. So I'm going to go up to the 60s. I'm going to go just a hair above 62, and I'm going to place a dot. For 20, I'm at 124. So I'm going to go up to the 120. I'm going to get a hair above that for 124. So for 30 times 6.2, I'm at 186. I'm using a calculator, by the way, to help me with these big numbers. Go a hair above it. For 40 times 6.2, should be at 248. Where is that? Yep. And let's go right here. Let's see, can I get 50 on here? 310. That would be what? 320 right here. Yeah, let's go ahead and try 50. And that should be kind of right there. All right. And if I think about it, if I had 0 calories, did I have 0 grams? Did I have any calories? Well, the answer is no. And what I can do is I can connect my dots to create a straight line. Okay, so what is the constant of proportionality? So what is my K value in my equation? Well, that is 6.2. So how could you use two values from the table to calculate the proportionality? Well, K is equal to Y over X. All right, so if I looked at this and I chose to look at my 25 calories and 155, okay, so my chips are X and my calories are Y. So I'm going to have 155 over 25 to see that it would have been 6.2. Okay. All right. If the graph is extended, will the point 100 and 620 lie on the line? And how do you know? All right. So that means if I do this, y is equal to 6.2x. That means if I look at my coordinate points, x and y, I want to know, is this going to be equal? So I'm going to write 620 in for y is equal to 6.2 times 100. And I want to know, is this going to be equal? Okay, so I'm going to take my handy dandy calculator, do 6.2 times 100. I get 620. And are both sides equal? And the answer is yes. So will this lie on the line? And yes. How do we know? It's because we plugged it in. So what would this point represent? So in X and Y, this point represents for 100 grams, I will have 620 calories. For 100 grams, I will have 620 calories. If you have any questions, please let us